to discuss his life, his legacy, and the person behind them. Many personalities. I'm joined by my Sky News colleague, Rowan Dean, a close friend of Barry Humphries. Rowan, our condolences to you. I know you're a friend of Barry Humphries. I think many around the country would be mourning, but also celebrating an incredible life and career.
Kieran, yeah, it's a very sad day. It's a very sad day when anybody dies, particularly someone of the stature of Barry Humphries. But Barry would not want people to be in mourning. Barry would want people today to be celebrating the extraordinary Australian humour that he took to the world. And I would urge everybody today to be telling jokes, cracking jokes, getting out there, telling their favourite Dame Edna or Sir Les gags, playing with the language in the way that Barry always did. I spoke to Barry on the phone only a couple of days ago, and as usual, he was cracking jokes. I saw him in the hospital about 10 days ago, and he had us in stitches cracking jokes. That was what Barry Humphries was about. It was piercing pomposity. It was taking that irreverent, I guess, larrikin, if you like, but classic dry Aussie wit, and he took it to the world, Kieran. And the extraordinary thing is that had he died in London, for example, they'd be talking about burying him in Westminster Abbey. He was such a popular figure there with the royals, with everybody, with the most common person in the street. Couldn't be too common for Barry, and right through to the upper echelons, they all loved him. In America, they adored him. The building over my shoulder there, Kieran, only really became famous when Dame Edna wore it as a hat at Ascot. That's what he did for Australia. He took us to the world, and we must celebrate that. In a restaurant close by where I live, Kieran, last night, when people heard the news, there was shock and there was sort of obvious unhappiness. But within minutes, people were laughing and cracking and telling their favourite Barry Humphries jokes with all the wit, with all the irreverence, with all the bawdiness, with all the lewd double entendres, triple entendres. That's how we should celebrate Barry Humphries. He deserves a state funeral. He was always apolitical. He had strong views on politics, but he had even stronger views on how to laugh at all politicians from all sides. He's Australia's greatest post-war figure, bar none, culturally, in terms of humour, in terms of what he did for Australia around the world, Kieran.
Indeed, and someone who, personally, in a modern sense, that I absolutely think is amazing is Ricky Gervais. And he said this morning, "Farewell, Barry Humphries, you comedy genius." And to me, it's from one genius to another, and it's high praise from someone who knows the craft from us. I mean, I just grew up loving and enjoying the humour from a peer. That enormous praise.
Indeed, Kieran, and the reality is Australians should take, particularly certain individuals in Melbourne, should take a bit of a long look at themselves, Kieran. Let's not forget, it was the Melbourne Comedy Festival that Barry Humphries began with Peter Cook, another legend, who then turned their back on him and cancelled the Barrys, which was the award. But of course, Barry responded to that with his classic humour, rather than being upset about it, although it did hurt him deeply. He said, okay, well, if they're going to get rid of the Barrys, I'm going to change my name to Melbourne Comedy Festival. What will they do then? So he was always there with a quick joke and a razor-sharp intellect, as well as a great love of the arts, a great love of all Australians and of all Australia. And yet Australia, as usual, probably didn't treat him as well as we could have done. So let's put all that behind us. Let's be woke-free today. Let's be irreverent. Let's be irrepressible. Let's be lewd and larrikin and crack all the jokes and be the Australia that Barry Humphries celebrated and took to the world.
Rowan, appreciate your reflections, and we look forward to hearing more of that a bit later on your program, Outsiders. Thanks so much for that.